Hello, welcome to episode 154 of the Beefy Boys Breakdown. I am Dominic, joined by my partner Harrison. We're going to be going over the prelims section of UFC 297, both the early prelims and the regular prelims. If you're interested in our main card breakdown, it is already up on YouTube. Go check that out, and check out some of our other videos while we're there. While you're there, one of the only shows out there going over every single fight on every single card. That being said, we always go over the prelims, and I was debating if I wanted to start at the early prelims or if I wanted to start at the featured prelim and work our way backwards. And usually pay-per-views have a pretty banger featured prelim.
Yeah,
Not
almost
so much.
always.
I don't think Brad Katona really warrants us going out of order here. So I say we just start with good old Oklahoma boy Jimmy Flick and work our way in chronological order.
I'm down, and as Connor would say, Brad Katona, a fucking
Yeah.
just a scab of a striker. I believe. You know what's hilarious is, the only reason they're putting Katona in this spot, and is what I'm going to recall it back to, the Ultimate Fighter. He was the winner of the bantamweight one of the guys that didn't make it in the UFC that got a second chance, which is the most ridiculous Ultimate Fighter season I've ever heard of in concept in my life. But that point aside, he was put opposite Team McGregor, which he actually trains at SBG Ireland. So it was very awkward. And the fight he had against Team McGregor, McGregor was breaking down breaking down Katona to his fighter, and he was like, "Yeah, he's a short, boxy striker with no movement or some shit like that." And I was like, "God damn! Like that's your real life teammate, dog. Like you can't just shred him like that."
I think he views Katona the way we viewed like JV guys and freshmen when we were seniors. You know
Right,
what I mean?
like
Like,
this
yeah,
guy's
he's
hanging
in the
around.
building, but
Yeah, like this
but
guy's
you
around.
know,
Like this guy's around. Like, hey, he bears witness to all the cool shit I do in practice.
yeah, he lets me beat him up sometimes. But
Like,
yeah,
hey, he's across from me in 7-on-7, and he hates it.
yeah, no doubt. But yeah, man. So jerking the curtain here, we got Oklahoma's own Jimmy Flick plus 165, minus 200 favorite Malcolm Gordon. This is a no bet for me because like it's gonna like I'm sorry, Jimmy Flick, you're from Oklahoma. I root for you for that reason. I follow you. I support your story. But when it comes to like analyzing your style or how I view you in the like in the hierarchy of flyweights, sorry, I'm not going to have the most nice things to say, which sucks. He actually follows us on Twitter. Like I said, I hate doing it, but I can't compromise my integrity and like not say what I
Gotta be
truly
fair.
believe.
Gotta be honest. I mean, it's like Sarah Alpar when
Yeah.
she got obliterated and had a wedding 2 weeks later. We weren't nice to her about that, nor should we have been. It's like whenever you talk about Emily Ducote, probably the best representation of Oklahoma, or whenever you talk about Raging Panda, I can't,
Julia Villa,
Julia
is that
Avila,
Avila?
Julia Avila, yeah. Um, like she's one of those ones that I think is massively overrated. So
Yeah.
just in all fairness, Jimmy Flick.
Like we want to see Oklahoman fighters win, but it's not enough to make us just like put on our crimson colored glasses and just ignore reality.
Yeah, I would much rather see Jimmy Flick in combat jiu-jitsu than I would in the UFC. For the simple fact that he's a like acrobatic jiu-jitsu practitioner, but he can't throw hands to save his fucking life.
No, man, and I'm actually going to say something I don't think I've ever said before on this show, and I don't like doing this kind of thing, and I feel kind of uneasy doing it, but I I'm going to do it. Fuck it. Like I I think Jimmy Flick, maybe man or female, only fighter on the roster where like I would do a boxing round with and not be like pissing my pants.
Right, just like
Like I'm
not
not
super worried about it.
like I'm not saying I would win, but I do think I would like be able to protect myself at all times, and I
Yeah,
do think I could like survive around.
I think
Like
I would see the shots coming. I don't think he's disguising his shots or feinting very much.
I outweigh the guy by like 100 pounds. Like I'm not, like, I don't know. Like I said, weird thing to say. I'll admit that, and I don't like doing that on this show. That's not really what this show's about. I just want to say like maybe bottom three striker in the UFC, like striking, like boxing, kickboxing, like take out jujitsu. It's bad.
Pure boxing. If he were to watch this, I would do a 3-minute round with him. If we could film it, would be hilarious.
Yeah, and it's like I don't like doing that, and it is kind of douchey or whatever. But like, I'm just trying to paint a picture here of like He's that bad.
Yeah.
Marnik Man might be the only other fighter on the roster that I would say that about. Like I'm not like I'm not out here trying to do rounds, but like,
And it's
yeah,
like,
just a non-factor, like a negative. If you're doing a Madden ranking, his like boxing is like 5, a 10, a
well, bro,
15. Like,
it's unfortunate because he's got like Rafael Sunset level jiu-jitsu, but he's got like CM Punk level hands. It's
legitimately,
yeah. I
like
mean, I
it's
think
not
that's the guy that'd be
professional.
fair to
Like,
compare him to hands wise. Like the combos look like they're like out of a school where you're learning like from a guy you pay $60 an hour and you're not a professional.
yeah, it's really bad. Like, I've been to King of the Cage and I've been to some local Muay Thai fights. Like I've literally seen like higher level striking from like low level promotions.
Yeah, I mean the striking fluidity, right? Because it's just like they haven't done it long enough. They're not comfortable. You can
the
see the lack of
fluidity,
fluidity.
the power, the
Yeah.
defense, the like there's literally no box. Like usually like a Val Woodburn, right? Like nobody's gonna confuse him with Muhammad Ali, but at least he's like a jacked, scary dude that like you wouldn't want to get punched in the face by. Like Jimmy Flick just offers nothing on the feet.
Well, Malcolm
And
Gordon
that's
took full
probably,
advantage of that in round one.
yeah, man. Also, Malcolm Gordon took full advantage of missing weight again. Yeah, he's got to be getting cut soon. But yeah, man, round one, 10-9 Gordon was getting the damage off on the feet, got the damage on the ground. He got his own takedown. Flick threw up a triangle attempt and a decent Von Flue attempt, but it's like,
Decent
you
Von
know,
Flue.
we've
I was
always,
surprised he couldn't get deeper on that, to be quite honest.
and we always talked about like, on like if you get close to an armbar but he doesn't tap, that could potentially result in some damage, a knee bar, you know. But when a choke, especially a blood choke,
Yeah, it's
doesn't
like,
get if the guy survives it, it's hard to score it. You know, it's kind of a philosophical thing, but you can't really score it as damage. You can give him credit for the attempt, but whenever he took that much damage, got taken down, and then threw up some decent subs,
well,
like
for me, it's like turning off my light switch versus putting a hole in my wall. Like, which is damage? Like, if you turn off the lights, I can't see any of the walls, so I'm fucked. But also, if you put a hole in my wall, that wall's fucked specifically. You know what I'm saying? So like,
yeah.
the light switch, it comes right back on. So yeah, to your point, there's no lasting effect there. Whereas like the hole in the wall, I got to go patch that. That's gonna be a problem.
No, for sure, bro. And then you know, and then round two, you know, Flick was able to survive. I mean, granted to Flick, he does have a chin and he is a tough guy and he doesn't quit on himself. So like these are some nice things I can say about Flick. But because he does survive kind of that blitz from Gordon in round two, able to get the takedown.
The way he got the takedown was absurd. He essentially like wormed his way to the back while he was getting rocked, and then got Gordon to the ground and just took over.
Like,
it was slick. Cool. I mean, it was Jimmy the Brick slick flick, but like that was nice right there. But yeah, man, it's one of those things where he has one path to victory. It's exactly that. And this was a loser goes home fight, if you're really asking me.
Oh, for sure.
So I think Malcolm Gordon missing weight are crazy. Like, honestly, if Jimmy Flick had lost and Malcolm Gordon had not looked good and missed weight, I think both of them could have got cut. Like, that's where these guys sit in the division and in the UFC overall. But all things being said and considered, it's like Jimmy Flick, like, if you're a football team and all you do is throw 60-yard, like, go routes, it's going to be pretty hard to win games. I mean, you can if a team has horrible back end coverage. Like you'll find success, and that's essentially what Jimmy Flick is. It's like he can throw that Hail Mary, and if you have bad enough defense, jiu-jitsu defense, you'll get caught.
Yeah, and he ends up getting the arm triangle submission, and I am very happy for him that he got the win. Cash is a plus 165 dog. It's just like, how would that project going forward? Like, even after the win, I have updated these rankings. I still have him as like my 7 worst flyweight, you know? Like, I have him above the Mataus Mendozas and Kevin Borjas and Vinicius Salvadors of the world, but I still have him below an Altamirano. I have him below an Edgar Chairez, below a Carlos Hernandez.
Oh, like, I think Chairez puts work on Jimmy Flick.
That's what I'm saying. It's hard for me. Like, even after a win, I like to like skip a guy up in my rankings. I like couldn't. Like, I don't think I could skip him over a Shirez. Like, I don't think he could beat a Shirez. I don't think
Well, and
he could.
it's also like every judge and you and me scored round 1 to Gordon. Gordon was winning round 2 until he got his back
Yeah.
taken and choked out. So it
Yep.
wasn't like Jimmy Flick won any point of the fight except for the last 15 seconds.
No, for sure, man. I'll say this. It's gonna sound like I'm talking out both sides of my neck. Matchup wise, and I would hate to see this matchup be made, but it has potential to be interesting. Tyra versus Flick would be some sick ass scrambles. It doesn't make sense. They shouldn't make that fight. Tyra would win that fight. You're right. To your initial point, I'd probably rather see that in a combat jiu-jitsu match.
Right.
But
like Jimmy Flick would be fun in combat jiu-jitsu. He really would be.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. It's just like literally negative striking. Like
right.
Both offensive and defense. It's not like he's super defensively sound and he just doesn't have power. Like he doesn't have power. He doesn't like offensively really put it together. He has terrible striking defense, like a pretty solid chin, but he has also been put out twice. So how good is it really? Like it's just.
Well, and once again, man, like not to continue just to take shots at a guy from Oklahoma, but like if you actually look at his head, it looks like he's been hit a lot.
Oh, he has so much scar tissue like around
like it looks
his,
like he
orbitals.
Right, it looks like for years he's gotten hit a lot. So it's almost
we can keep it pushing, honestly, man, because like I said, I don't enjoy saying negative things about a guy that won and a guy from Oklahoma, but it's just hard to project future success for Jimmy Flick, like you said, outside of those Hail Mary subs. I mean, he's Ryan Hall, right? I mean, we've seen this song and dance before. He's Ryan Hall. Like, that shit does not work. Like,
100% just doesn't. Yeah, you can't be. There's specialists, and then there's being only good at one thing.
Yeah. Like, there's no redeeming quality. Like, if you're a jiu-jitsu guy, but you're an elite athlete, like a Rodolfo Vieira, like he's like a juice to the gills athlete. Like, that can kind of equalize some things. That can equalize some things, but like Jimmy, not a plus athlete.
Vieira started running into trouble now too, even getting like top 30 guys by our rankings. So like the limiting point is already pretty low in most UFC divisions. Like already, if a guy's top 30, like he's going to be.
But
good
at least he has
everything.
power and strength and athleticism. Like those are boxes that Flick's not. Like I said, I'm still saying mean things about Flick. I'm so sorry, Jimmy Flick. Yeah, I really shout out Oklahoma. And
Flick has chin and jiu-jitsu. Those are nice things to say.
Rooting for you, man, but it's just tough. It's tough. Let's keep it pushing to some women's bantamweights here. And the only reason why this is exciting is we get to have a debate over whether or not round 2 was a 10-7. Super rare. One judge actually did score a 10-7.
I actually did myself. I'll go ahead and let the cat out. Because if round 1 was a 10-8 and like a clear 10-8, then I thought round 2 had to be a 10-7. Like if that was my precedent.
No, you're right. Like even like kind of like I did it in the moment, scored a 10-7, but like that logic completely lines up with like because the round 1 was a 10-8. Well, but round 2, you add a knockdown to that 10-8.
And 20 more strikes than the first round, which first round was 110, second round was 130.
Woo! That's so gnarly. And you have the knockdown too, because at first my argument for not scoring at a 10-7 was it was death by a million cuts. But there was that knockdown. I low-key kind of forgot.
It wasn't a takedown around 2, it was a knockdown around 2.
Yeah. So like that's not pitter pat. That's not death by 1,000 cuts. Like that's impactful striking damage.
It was quite literally the only reason that I like had 10-7 question mark and that I'm like firmly now sitting 10-7.
I have the word so much with a bunch of O's like damage in both of my notes for those rounds. Like it was one-way traffic. It was.
I think she had her outstruck 240 to like 5 going into the third round.
Yeah, like it was very reminiscent of Weili Lemos. I mean, honestly, very reminiscent of that.
The total strike differential by the time the fight's over is 300.
Well, Cashweda straight up just did not. So Cashweda, this fight took place at bantamweight.
Oh
because
my God!
Cashweda said basically like she didn't want to cut weight. which I thought it was weird that the UFC kind of went along with it. I guess they just thought it was a nothing burger fight, so like
Well,
who gives a fuck?
and I
But like,
bet better than having to make a late replacement if Jazz Vicious would just say yes, 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 and she gets to fight at home. So for her, she's like,
she's not gonna. Yep,
she's not gonna say no. Like she's in a position to want to fight the fight regardless of what Cachoeira is demanding, and Cachoeira, whether she realizes it or not, is in the position to make the demands because the UFC just wants to keep the fight on the card.
No, totally, and like nobody really cared.
That's what I'm saying.
But I think that bit her in the ass because I mean I think she
Yeah.
like didn't train hard. I mean like probably didn't diet well. Like just performed like dog shit. Like it's not one of those redeemable losses. Like she performed very poorly in all aspects. Ends up losing by like I guess it goes down officially as an anaconda. It was like she's like
Anaconda officially, but
Jazz the Vicious like started off in a Darce and then like transitioned to mount. It was like a mounted Darce almost. Like it was like a weird variation of like a guillotine, like a.
well, and she kept trying to get it, and then was unable. Like she wouldn't do. Like Cruz kept roasting her, like you're like essentially doing it wrong.
Yeah,
and then and even DC like chimed in and was like, yeah, like she needs to be like chest to chest, but like get the knee up in between and like create space that pulls the head down. And he was like, for some reason she keeps getting like on top of her and like into her like half guard. He was like, it doesn't really make sense. Like it's not a good place to finish it. The only reason she got the finish at the end was because Cachoeira was just done.
No, 1,000%, man.
Sorry, I was also just looking at Cachoeira's record in the UFC. Dude, I don't know how this girl has 10 UFC fights. She's 4-6 now. 4 losses by sub, and then the wins are Shayna Dobson, Gina Mazzani, Ji-Yeon Kim, and I will say the last one, Ariane Lipsky, ages well.
Yeah, it ages well for sure. Man, Cachoeira, man, I fully view her as a can. If she's not cut, they're totally going to use her to build like a Jamie Lynn Horth or a Luana Santos or a somebody of that ilk. I would say Juliana Miller, but I think she actually probably nukes Juliana Miller, so that probably. But like, I think that they're gonna try to use her to either build like a young prospect or just straight up cut her. That was bullshit. And then Jazz the Vicious, unfortunately, is like she is where she is, man. I mean, I have her as like 17th in my power rankings. I don't see her climbing to like top 10. She's right there. Like, I don't think she beats like an Natalia Silva. If she does beat a Lauren Murphy, it's only because Murphy's a million years old. I don't think she beats a Lipsky or a Karine Silva or a Tracy.
All right. What about like
girls? Personally,
what about like Andrea Lee or like Joanne Wood?
well, I think Joanne Wood is either retired or cut, and Andrea Lee is in my can tier. So yeah, sure. I mean, she definitely. If they match her up with Andrea Lee, and if it's anything short of like minus 300, I'll probably bet it as a straight. Like I think Andrea, but like Andrea Lee is a can, like for sure in my book. So like I have Andrea Lee as my third worst women's flyweight. So I mean, yeah, you could do that.
Well,
but
honestly,
that's what I'm saying. Like Jazz the Vicious, she beats all those cans. I mean, I just don't think she beats the elite fighters. I think she's at like 17 to that 20 to 15, 20 to 14.
Yeah, you know what's strange? I'm looking at the rankings, and women's 125 is by far the most fun division. By far.
That middle area, the Cortezes of the world, the Karine Silvas, the Talia Silvas.
That 6 to 13 is crazy.
Yeah, the Lipskys of the world, Casey O'Neill in there. I mean, I don't like Maverick, but certain people are high on her. You know what I mean? Like that. That 15 to like 25, like the unranked flyweights are almost more interesting than the ranked flyweights, like honestly.
Yeah, well, a lot of those girls sit there kind of interchangeably with like the back end. In all honesty, it's just who gets the opportunity and win.
No, for sure, bro. But yeah, man, let's keep it pushing here, man. We got Jokan Linus. I'm gonna steal that one from you. Talk about the main card on the Malott breakdown. But yeah,
Jokan Linus. Also, I'm sorry. Go ahead with the odds because I don't want to ruin that. Important for the viewers.
No, you're good. Linus minus 140. The Sam Patterson plus 130. Sam Patterson's 0-1 in the UFC, and he lost to Yanal Ashmouz at lightweight. bad L. I have
Tough.
Ashmoose in like my bottom tier.
Yeah.
And then, but he is interesting being 6'3", you know. And then Linus, I have him basically in my can welterweight tier. So it was a no bet for me because I had a can lightweight moving up to welterweight and taking on a welterweight can. And it's just like, I mean, there wasn't really a ton of value either way. Neither guy really inspires confidence as a bettor. So this was a no bet for me. And I mean, I was down to watch it. I'll be real. I'm actually glad that there was like a weight class move because if not, there would have been zero reason to give a fuck about this fight.
100%.
It's always interesting when a guy moves up. Like, what's that going to look like? A 6'3" lightweight moves up to welterweight. Like, sure, let's find out what that looks like. And it looked good. I mean, to answer that question, it looked good. He looked way better at welterweight. But this fight, kind of a nothing burger. I mean, we ended up getting a sick first round finish out of it. So at least we didn't have to watch 15 minutes of it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do you have anything to say about this one?
Yeah, so I was going to say shout out to Michael. He was high on Sam Patterson as his dog pick of the week. I think he even put it in his top 2 like locks at plus 130. That's pretty big to get a lock for that. So
if you feel that strong about it, it's a ton of value.
yeah, exactly.
I saw it as
I
can
did
on
not.
can.
Yeah, I did not see that value. Now the value Michael saw was pretty simplistic, and I appreciate that in a can on can matchup, which is this guy is 6'3", big length, 155, but he was killing himself to make it. So the 15 pounds added on, still a big welterweight. 6'3", still big, you know what I mean?
Oh,
and
yeah.
Linus, not the biggest welterweight. So I see where Michael was going with that, was like, this guy is going to fight more comfortably at a weight that's more suitable for him.
And basically both strikers, and you have almost like a precision striker versus a power puncher that usually favors the precision guy.
Right.
I feel, yeah, hindsight, a lot of hindsight 2020 in my breakdown, but as a bettor,
Well,
I didn't really
I'm just
feel
saying
that way.
shout out to Michael because he did kind of allude to those things, but I didn't know if that was the case because, to your point, can on can. Like, this is can on can violence.
Well, and how the finish takes place is even cannish. Like, Johan Linus gets dragged down by a front headlock. Like, it literally was not a takedown. It wasn't a trip. It was like an upper body on upper body. It was like a Greco takedown. Or like, I don't even know. I'm not the wrestling guy. You are. But, like, it was all upper body. That's why I use the word Greco. There was no legs from either man involved.
Just kind of lifted and turned.
Yeah, he just, like, dragged him down. It's like some shit you would see at a bar fight, honestly. Like, we see, it's like
yeah, just kind of like a shitty tackle almost.
Yeah, like a low level. Just so, and then he ends up getting him down and getting the rear naked choke. And I guess the transition to the back was like, I wouldn't say high level, but like
it was nice.
Mid level, decent.
It was nice. He knew how to stay on the hips while realigning the legs to get the hooks in, and also was moving on the head to get his arm around the neck. So I will say the transition was nice.
I'll say everything I said about Flick striking, I'll say about Linus's like defensive grappling. It's like negative 1,000.
Like it was like he got scared and just hung his neck out there.
It was weird. I mean, it was. they don't. The subs don't come much easier than that, man. He didn't have to fight to get his hooks in. There was zero hand fighting on the actual choke itself. Relatively quick tap. I mean, as far as submissions go, they don't come much easier. And I didn't write down any of the bonuses. I imagine this one didn't get a bonus.
Let's see. So I did forget shout out Jasmine Jazz DeVicious. She did get a bonus for her performance. This one,
yeah, that makes sense.
This one did not.
And neither did Flick, right?
And neither did Flick. No, now Jimmy Flick, it does list in this the article I'm looking at. It says it's like too bad for Jimmy Flick or whatever, saying like he could have gotten it, but unfortunately not for him.
I think if it was the old school bonuses where it was submission of the night, but you can't give that performance of the night. It was a bad performance.
Yeah, and Dana was pissed about the card and the reason you know this is because he gave 2 performance bonuses and a fight of the night, the bare minimum.
Yeah, the bare minimum. You already know. Yeah. So as far as Sam Patterson moving forward, I can't say I'm high. I'm 1,000% out on Linus. And as far as Sam Patterson goes, where do I got him? I mean, I got him in like my 4th from bottom tier with like the Trey Waters and Miguel Baez's of the world. Like until further notice, like maybe he'll slowly work his way up, but until further notice, Like, I think him versus Miguel Baeza would actually be a pretty sick fight, like for like a prelim level fight.
Oh yeah, him and Baeza would actually be a fun fight, but
Yeah,
also a fight that like just still some cans.
yeah, no, for sure, bro. Let's keep it pushing, man. So that wraps up the early prelims. As far as action goes, early prelims best part. Like we said, can name value, but as far as like what you're actually watching take place and action and violence and finishes and excitement, early prelims were the highlight of this card until you get to the main event. But
100%. And I also want to give credit to Jillian Robertson, who will obviously kick off this card, this part of the card with. But I thought she brought it. She looked good. She was doing everything she needed to do. That being said, Poliana Viana also fought a really dumb fight. Now, that's to be expected here. It's women's strawweight. It's Jillian Robertson minus 300, taking on Poliana Viana plus 240. And honestly, man, like this is essentially one of those where it's like, if Viana can make it a Muay Thai fight, she's gonna win. And if she has to grapple and can't defend the takedown and goes to the ground, and Robertson's in an advantageous grappling position, Viana's gonna lose.
Well, that's how I was pretty goddamn high on Robertson. I had her on my parlay. So did you. Now, because I do believe you said Polyana Muay Thai path to victory, but I believe most of her wins are by sub, and she definitely wasn't going to, in my opinion, sub Robertson. And I thought that because Polyana does have some subs, if I'm not mistaken, that she would be willing to grapple with Robertson. And I thought Robertson was the better grappler. It's like path to victory for Robertson.
Eight subs, 5 TKOs in her career.
Yeah. So like that's what I'm saying. So a fighter that has 8 subs isn't going to be like scared to go to the ground, even with a grappler as high as Robertson. And that's where I thought that would be her downfall. She'd be like willing to engage in the grappling, which is basically what took place. I mean, right? Like Robertson, was able to get the takedown, but largely because Viana was like, willing to let her like engage in that range.
So here's what I was saying with the Muay Thai is that her gym is shoot to box. So like what they're known for is Brazilian Jiu Jitsu and then Muay Thai. So like, she wasn't going to out Jiu Jitsu Robertson. I imagine someone had to have told her that. So she had to rely on striking, and she was just so happy to fight Robertson's fight. It's kind of the story of Poliana Viana is that like she doesn't have a defined fight style. She'll just fight your kind of fight.
1,000%, and she's not like super strong. Like she's kind of frail for the weight class, even strawweight.
So, I mean, like, great on social media, and honestly, pretty good looking.
Oh, great on social media. I love her cosplays are so fire. Like she dresses up as like anime characters,
like puts like
so,
a lot of work
on like
into
Comic-Con level. Yeah, no, she's marketable. Like I could see her. Like I wish she spoke English, because if she spoke English, she could be crushing like a podcast or like. She's super marketable girl, but yeah, as far as in the cage, I just don't. I mean, she's approaching can level. And then as far as Robertson, I feel the same way about Robertson as I feel about almost like a Neil Magny, like not a can, very good, but I just don't see Robertson cracking the top 10. Like I have Robertson right now, behind Yasmin Haragui, slightly above Tisha Torres and Bruna Brazil. Tisha Torres is that low. She just had a baby. She's like semi-retired. Like who knows what's going on there moving forward.
Her wife just got a belt. Check out the main event. Check out the main event breakdown.
So she could be a housewife. Like I don't even know if she's still considered an active fighter. She tweets about wanting to get back in there and stuff. But I'm just saying that's why I have Tisha Torres that low. But just that level, like for example, my 15 is Tabitha Ricci, 14 Angela Hill. Like it's hard for me to see her beating those girls. Like they're good at what, because Robertson's striking, it's not quite flick bad, but it's pretty fucking bad. And the strawweights can strike. The strawweights can strike, dude. And now you could argue that she's a better grappler than most of them, and I'd probably agree. But I mean, like all these girls, like Hibas, Rodriguez, Lupi Godinez. I mean, even like Luana Pinheiro.
Or even like Kovalkiewicz. Yeah, Luana Pinheiro. All those girls are trouble for Robertson. Kovalkiewicz would piece her up on the feet.
So, like, I have Robertson ranked like 18 in my power ranking.
That's about right. That's about right.
And it's hard for me to imagine her
Like,
climbing much higher than that.
she's a girl that has a spot in the UFC for roster depth, but not for top 10 or even maybe realistically top 15.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
like
I mean,
she's like
I
a
thought,
power bar of like women's weight classes. Like
yes,
she sits in
yes,
that
like
like
not bad.
yeah, she sits right in that middle where it's like, all right, like I'll watch her fight. Like I know what to expect, and it's gonna be a good show because like she's either gonna get beat up or she's gonna get a submission. So I'm gonna like have a good fun fight to watch.
Finishes this woman in the second round by TKO, ground and pound. And I thought that was kind of cool because she just took what Viana gave her. Like
Right.
Viana was having like decent sub defense, like we mentioned. Viana's pretty good at jiu-jitsu. So Robinson, instead of just going for subs that may and giving up the position, she kept the position and just hammered away, pounded away. I thought that was actually kind of a level up for Robertson, and like decision making wise.
I 100% agree. I also think it surprised Viana that happened. It almost was like she like was late to defend all the strikes because she was like preparing for the jiu-jitsu match.
1,000% agree. 1,000% agree. I get to the finish 3-12 into the second round. Bonus here? I can see this getting a bonus.
I do believe yes, Jillian Robertson does get a bonus here.
Good, good. I'm sure she'll
Uh,
buy some pre rolls. She's always posting pre rolls on IG. Uh,
Other bonuses here, like we said, Jasmine Jasovicius got one. Jillian Robertson gets one, and the fight of the night was the main event, Sean
Main
Strickland
event.
and
No.
Drickus, which, if you guys haven't checked out that breakdown, got to go check it out. We lead off the episode with it. Give us 20 minutes because that's what we spend on it. What a firefight.
Of course, man. But yeah, happy for Robertson. Robertson, I'll say, she's one of those fighters that I find myself rooting for. Like, likable. Likable
I
fighter.
know, super.
Like,
And after her appearance on the Joe Rogan MMA,
I was
like
about to say,
really
her
liked her on
Rogan
there.
episode was good. Yeah, yeah.
Dean
She's
Thomas
good
is
on
her
social
coach. I
media.
really like Dean Thomas. So,
Totally. Like, there's nothing I don't like about her besides her striking and, like, overall athleticism.
besides
Like,
her actual
like
performance in the octagon, yeah.
well, not all of it. Not all of it. Those particular two areas, like her striking and her, like, explosiveness. She's not, like, athletic per
Yeah, well,
se.
like you could say mixed martial arts is grappling, striking, and athleticism, and if she lacks 2 out of 3, well, here we go.
Yeah, she's a grappler for sure, but I guess the knockout finish here. So I want you to speak of her in kind terms, man. Well, let's keep it pushing this next fight, man. We got the rare debut on debut rematch. It's a rare kind of storyline that you rarely see, and I guess
Yeah.
rarely care about.
The not so rare me getting robbed in Vegas.
Yeah, this was a tough decision that I think it's like we're both biased in this one. So we bet City. This was our second leg of our parlay after Robertson. These two have fought before. CD had got the knockout on the Contender Series, but I guess one thing that we didn't really factor in, the reason why the rematch, and it was like unanimously viewed as like an early stoppage.
Yeah.
So like so that factors in. Serhiy City, Ukrainian that like lived most of his life in Canada, minus 190 favorite, taking on Ramon Tavares plus 160. Bantamweight division. This also makes this L on our bet like even harder to swallow. Tavares missed weight by like 1/4 or by 5 pounds or 4 pounds, I guess.
Dude,
technically.
yeah.
So weighed in at almost a featherweight. So that make when you lose a bet to a guy, because like in real life, CD got some of his money. For
right,
us,
we didn't get any of that.
yeah, we like when a guy
and
betting
also
against the guy who misses weight sucks.
And also in a fight that is a split decision, like where it's this close, it's like, well, if that guy had to cut the extra 4 pounds, he's fucking losing.
You're right, dude. Like it's hard not to feel that way as a CD better, for sure. We got to go round by round here. It is a split decision, and it is a split decision that we disagree with. So now that we've acknowledged our bias, let's get into what we've actually saw here. Even with my bias, I gave round 1 to Tavares, man. I mean, he got the knockdown. He wobbled him a second time. Obviously, that's going to equate to winning the damage battle. And he also had some really nice body work, punches to the body. It's like I love Tavares' work in round 1. It definitely made my butthole clench up as a CD better. I was like, oh, yikes, this isn't what I wanted to see.
Me too. I thought Tavares mostly got the better of CD in round 1. I thought it was going to slightly edge him out. And then in the last 7 seconds of the round, I don't know what the fuck CD was thinking, but he kind of like let his guard down a little bit, almost like, all right, we're just going to kind of, faint for the end of the round. Tavares had no intention of that, cracked him, dropped him, definitely took the round. I mean, if there was any question, it absolutely cemented it for him. So then I was...
Easiest round to score of the whole fight.
100%. Sure. It's actually the only round all three judges agree on. And then it's like, with that being said, as a CD bettor, I was like, God damn it, Siri. Like, can you take this motherfucker seriously? Like, I know that you cracked him in the last fight and finished him, but like, dude, you just got like wobbled at the end of a round 2. So I was like, how is this going to affect round 2? And honestly, it does kind of start round 2 bad. But battles through that first minute, and I thought won out the next 4.
Yeah, that's what's so hard. So round 2, super murky, super hard to score. It's where all the controversy kind of boils down to. Because you're right. So at the start of round 2, Tavares gets the knockdown and absolutely destroys CD's nose. I mean, his nose is an absolute mess, in shambles. So damage, I mean, this was a weird one. This was a hard one for me to score. I've been pretty bullish on my take, but I'm like, it really was pretty hard to score because you're right. Because CD goes on to win the next like 4 minutes and 15 seconds of the round, get plenty of his own damage off. But he doesn't do anything like comparable as far as knockdowns or really visible damage. But like kind of outclasses him the rest of the round, has a ton of success. Like I said, wins 4 minutes of the round. It's hard to score. It really was. I score it to CD. Banger of a round. I mean, the volume, the significant strikes ended up on CD's favor. He definitely finished strong, like the microcosm of the round. Like if round 2 it was in a vacuum was his own fight, CD wins, right? Like right. It's like a comeback win for CD if it's a 5-minute fight. Kind of some lawyer ball answers here from me. I mean, do you have like a better, like less fucking bullshit way to give this round a CD? I feel like I'm not making the best case here.
Here's what I'm gonna say. Where we currently stand, 2 of these judges have it 19-19 after this round, and 1 judge has it 20-18 for Tavares. Right? I don't necessarily hate the 20-18 for Tavares. I understand, like you just explained with the damage on the nose, all that. I get it. What I do have a problem with here is that if you do score round 2 for CD, you almost have to score round 3 for him, right?
Oh yeah, I thought round 3 was like marginally better round for CD than 2. Like I gave round 3 to CD like confidently. It was a banger. Yeah, I have the word banger in my notes, but not close. Like it wasn't that close, but they got after it. But I thought CD like came out smelling like roses in 3.
Yeah, I said ultra fun round that I do have the word close, but not like very close or nothing like that. I just have fun round, but I thought the bigger moments were for CD, and I thought the visual momentum was for CD in the round as well.
That flying knee was fucking nasty.
And so all that being said, Derek Cleary scores the fight for CD. Same scorecard as us, rounds 2 and 3 to him. Eric Colon scores round 3 to CD and rounds 1 and 2 to Tavares. So Tavares 29-28. Really don't have too much of a problem with that scorecard, right?
Yeah, understandable, honestly.
Now, Salim Hanif scores rounds 1 and 3 for Tavares, but 2 for CD.
Yeah, that's a terrible scorecard.
Right. That's the card where I'm like, this guy fucked the fight. Like, this guy fucked the fight. If you scored 2 for CD, give him 3, Salim. What are we fucking talking about?
1,000%. 1,000%. Like, giving Tavares 3.
3, but not 2. Right. That's the craziest like logic.
Yeah. That's just so, like, inconsistent. Like, that's really bizarre. Because from my recollection, Tavares didn't even really have any big moments.
No,
I mean it was competitive. Like there was a few exchanges that he like maybe got the better of, but he didn't knock him down. He didn't cut him again.
3 was weird because CD was starting to lead in this first minute, and then Tavares started to battle back for the next 90 seconds, and then CD finished out the round, winning the last probably 2.5 minutes, and they even had a live odds on that was like -400 when the fight finished for CD.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, that was a tough one as a bettor to lose that leg of the parlay in that fashion and that weird of a scorecard. Tavares gets the win. These guys are 1-1. I wouldn't mind seeing a fucking third one, honestly. I mean, I doubt they would for two unranked guys, but
To
hell of a fight.
Tavares said he's open to it, and he feels like this fight was close enough where it's justified to fight a third time.
Sign me up, man. Fucking featured prelim on an Apex card. Get
Yeah,
after it. Let's go.
honestly, like yeah, why
Yeah,
not?
fuck it.
Like, fine.
I don't
I'm fine
like
with it.
care about these guys fighting anyone else. They don't have heat or storylines with anybody else in the division. They're both brand new to the division. Like,
The only other thing
yeah.
though is bantamweight's so goddamn deep.
Oh,
that-
there's a million guys for him to fight
Right.
for sure. But I'll say promotionally, nobody would give a fuck about those other fights, and some people would give a fuck about this.
It's a great point. It's a great point.
But we'll keep it pushing here. Because man, these are some interesting featherweights you got coming up here. Charles Jourdain minus 205, Sean Woodson plus 170, 6'2.5", insane build for the featherweight division. Now, this fight, I have a weird scorecard. I have a scorecard that doesn't match any of the judges' scorecards.
Sounds like you and I might have the same scorecard.
Maybe. There's a decent chance.
So for me, I just think overarching theme of this fight, Charles Jourdain just kept coming up short. Most of the times whenever it was a 50-50 situation, or if it was like a ring generalship kind of a thing, or even just a damage battle, I thought Sean Woodson just stayed slightly ahead in every round. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, I scored at 30-27 Woodson.
Me too. And no judge did. Thank you. It just ended up being a split decision. And me and Harrison both had 30-27 Woodson. What? Yeah, these Canadian scorecards were fucking horseshit.
Yeah, and that being said, I also bet Charles Jourdain here. And also, I will say that 2 judges score round 2 for Woodson. 2 judges score round 3 for Woodson. And only 1 judge scores round 1 for Woodson. So 1 is the most controversial. Now, in my notes, I do agree with that, actually. I thought 1 was
and round 1 is, but you could argue that's when he landed his biggest shot of the whole fight with that knee to the head.
That's what
so
one.
Like,
that's what I have winning the round for me, is that the big knee.
Yeah, man. I thought it was a masterclass on range and distance.
Oh,
and I guess in the With Sean Woodson, we always talk about, it's kind of cliche, but it's like, a lot of tall fighters don't know how to fight tall. Sean Woodson is like the textbook. Like, if there's a dictionary, like how to fight tall, it's a picture of Sean Woodson. He's so good at it.
He's great at fighting tall, but whenever he faces a really good grappler, he struggles because, dude, his legs are so goddamn long. Like, he has no torso.
So long. Yeah. Also, that helps him in his takedown defense, though, too. But I feel your point.
But like with body locks, he gets in big trouble because dudes can get to a single leg so easily from a body lock.
Yeah, and Charles Jourdain, not the best wrestler to take advantage of that. But Charles Jourdain, man, his whole career has been a guy that we kind of believe in the skill set. Like, we don't think he sucks, but I think he has a 500 record in the UFC now. If you go to his Tapology, I think he's 6-6.
I believe that's correct. Also, he was a guy that came in with a ton of hype when he was young.
Yeah,
and his skill set hasn't progressed. It's stayed the exact same.
And it's weird. It's like he's a striker. He's just kind of a tweener, man. Like, he's a striker, but he's not necessarily a power knockout guy, but he's also not that long, and he also is not that fast.
And he can sub you off his back, but I wouldn't say he's like a crazy jiu-jitsu guy, but he can.
Yeah, he can. I mean, he has balls of steel. He's game. He fights anybody, but he's one of those guys. I think he could actually have legit success in a smaller promotion, like a PFL. I think he could go to a Bellator, maybe. I'm not saying necessarily win a belt, but I think he could have more success elsewhere. Featherweight's just so deep, and he's just, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. You're 6-6, you're just not an elite UFC featherweight. You're not even a top 20 UFC featherweight.
No,
he's been given chances to beat ranked guys. He's been given a lot of opportunities. He's been given card placement. He's been on main cards.
Yeah.
They tried to give him opportunities. It's not for lack of trying.
For me, he sits right around that number 30 mark. I think he's the direct middle of the list of featherweights, because I think there's something 60 or 55 featherweights or 64 featherweights or something like that, and it's Charles Jourdain might be like 31 or 32 at this point. I might have
I
had him a little
literally have
higher,
him
but
32. I have
dude,
him
it's
32. That's
crazy how
so crazy.
lockstep our rankings are.
Yeah, I have him right there down there with the Steve Garcias and Andre Fili's of the world. I actually think him and Fili would be a pretty damn banger of a fight. But
Super fun fight.
that's the thing about him. I think that's why he still has a job. Like Jourdain, like you can usually mark him down for a fun, like fan-friendly fight. Like he has kind of a fan-friendly fight style.
Yes.
Also, though, do you follow him on social media? He's a weirdo on social media. He has like a weird sense of humor. It doesn't necessarily jive with me. Like, I don't love it. Like, I guess he gets an A
Geico
for
makes it
effort,
easy
and
to
it's like
bundle and save.
it's better than the fighter with no personality. But Jourdain seems weird, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. And then he seems like a weird guy. He also has a World of Warcraft tattoo on his leg, I've noticed. He's fought Andre Fili back in 2020 and has a split decision loss to him. Wouldn't mind seeing him run it back.
To be honest, yeah, I forgot about that one. But the fact that it was a split decision, yeah. And I think they're at like similar spots in their career, to be honest. Now, as far as Sean Woodson, I mean, he is the winner here. We spent more time talking about Jourdain. Granted, he is the bigger name, but Sean Woodson has the potential to be like a tough matchup in this division. He's starting to put it together. I think he's 5-1 in the UFC, or maybe is it 5-0-1? Is there like a draw or no contest or something?
So yeah, exactly right. So he is 7-0-1 or 7. I'm sorry, 6-1-1.
6-1-1. So I mean, that's a good record, bro. And he like the competition level is increasing. I moved him all the way up to 24 in my rankings, with the Naimovs, Jonathan Pierce, and Nate Landwehr's of the world. I think any of those names is like the perfect step up in competition, right? Like it's like I don't think he quite earned rankings yet in a division as deep as featherweight, but like a Nate the Train fight would be fun. Hell, a Jack Jenkins fight would be fun.
TJ Brown.
Yeah, that's a guy me and you have always disagreed on. I have TJ Brown as a can. Like I am not a TJ Brown guy. Like I have TJ Brown like probably in my 40s or 50s in my range. So I like I said, I have him up there with like Naimov, Jonathan Pierce, Pat Sabatini, David Onama, like guys like that. Like
I guess I'm just down on Woodson because I don't see him as like a well-rounded fighter.
Oh no. But I mean, and this is like obviously I'm out of line here, but like Alex Pereira is not well-rounded. Like you don't necessarily have to be well-rounded.
But
like,
what is Sean Woodson better than anyone else at?
Boxing. Like
no, not at 45. There's so many good 45ers at striking.
But I'm just saying at that level, I'm not comparing him to the top 5. I'm not comparing him to Taporia.
No, I'm just saying for the Pereira comparison, like Pereira's not maybe the very good at every other thing, but he's better than everyone else at one thing.
But all right, like I think him and David Onama. Onama's way stronger, way more physical, way more athletic. But Sean Woodson has like way crispier, like way better technique, way better range management, like better fundamentals. Like I think that's a banger of a fight. You win that, you probably earn yourself like a 17 to 20 guy.
Let me ask you this: like, do you think someone like Darren Elkins could just outdog him?
So I'm playing the headphone battery game at this point.
Oh, you're good.
Can you hear me at all?
Yeah, I got you. We only got the one after this anyway. But
yeah. But who'd you say? You said Elkins. I would favor Sean Woodson against Elkins based off my power rankings, and maybe not a prime Elkins, but a 38-year-old Elkins or whatever. Like you would cut him up, you would damage him.
Honestly, for Sean Woodson, that might be the guy I would call out because it's a big name as far as the UFC is concerned in a fight that's very winnable. Very losable too, though.
Or like a Cub Swanson, like that kind of level of guy. Like I think we're saying the same kind of guy.
Yeah.
I have him ranked quite above them on my power rankings, though. I'd be betting Woodson, and I bet we'd get some decent value on it. But let's keep it pushing to the fucking Brad Katona, 2-time tough champion.
Brad
taking
Katona.
on Gary Armfield, plus 180. Bantamweight division, like I said, I have the perfect analogy for Brad Katona. You remember when the Lakers won the bubble championship and everybody was calling it the Mickey Mouse championship?
Yeah.
Katona's like the tough guy, like what LeBron is to the bubble. Katona is like the tough. Like he does really well in that environment. The not full training camp. He's a smaller guy, so I think the weight cut's easy for him.
Yeah, living in a house, staying on weight, being like weirdly disciplined, like
weirdly disciplined. Yeah, I think he's like perfect. Like how certain teams played really good in the bubble, but then didn't like translate that success to the actual NBA season. He reminds me of that.
He's like mindset Michael Chandler, zero athleticism.
Yeah, no, exactly.
If Michael Chandler is 100 athleticism, Katona has like a 7 overall. You know what I'm saying? Like I think lifestyles are probably very similar, but I think one guy is like blessed by creation, and one guy is just like looks like literally a bookworm outside of like the gym.
And he is. He has like an engineering degree, which is cool. I like well-rounded humans. I'm not saying you got to be a meathead, but yeah, when you're a cage fighter, sometimes it does pay to be a meathead. But like,
shout out Paulo Costa and Martin Vettori.
No, 1,000% perfect example. I would not have made a better comparison. No, I got to fully own this one, get out my shovel and eat this shit. This was my lock of the week, man. I ranked my bets 1 star, 2 star, and 3 stars. And I try to only, when I'm making my picks, and I try to only actually put my money on 2 and 3 star picks. That's been kind of my system lately as I'm building my parlays. This was my only 3-star pick of the week. This was my lock of the week. And I feel like a jackass, but I'm also going to be honest with our viewers. Got this one wrong, 100%.
Yeah, you know what? I don't blame you, though. I liked Katona here as well. And we do have some split rounds here. The first round is split between the judges, and the third round is split between the judges. They all agree on the second. So there's...
Y'all know something bizarre? The second was my hardest round to score. That's the only round I have to work close in my notes.
I agree with weird. You. I thought Armfield controlled round 1 and looked great. I thought 2 was really close, and then I thought Armfield won out in round 3. I actually had it 29-28 Armfield, with it being 1-3 to Armfield, but no judge had that card.
I went 1-2 Armfield.
Yeah, so I mean, that right there, it tells you very close fight, but Armfield definitely won on the activity standpoint too, though.
Yeah, well, Katona, man, he would get a takedown and do fuck all with it, and then Armfield, man. This actually brings me back to what we were saying earlier about like how Raquel Pennington's good at the sport but not the fight.
Yeah.
Katona was doing the sport and Armfield was fighting.
Yes, 100%.
Like Armfield was fighting. He was getting damage off. I'll be real, man. Armfield's better than I thought he was. I don't want to overhype this because I probably had Katona too highly ranked in my power rankings coming into this one. To kind of the bubble Disney champion. But like Armfield coming into this one, I had Armfield, I think, in like my almost chance here. I had him like very near the bottom of my bantamweight rankings. And after this one, he's much closer to the middle. Like I don't like Armfield's not a can. Like Armfield has like he's a dog.
Fully agree with you on that take that I had Armfield near the bottom, so I thought the value of Katona was at least worth the bet. I did bet him as well. So, yeah, I think as far as how this fight projected on paper and everything about it, I think we took the smart decision. It's just that Katona we got to remember, man, it's a guy that's not going to fight to win. It's a guy that's going to try to point to win. And man, the UFC is so tough to do that. So tough to do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing like Katona versus like a Blackshear. Or or even like a Raul Rosas Jr. I think that'd be a good fight.
I wouldn't mind seeing Katona get cut. I can't stand that guy.
No, I feel it, but I think because he has the 2-time tough champion, they'll use him. And bantamweight has a million prospects that need fights. Like I said, I could see them using him.
What weight is Rinya Nakamura? Is he featherweight or is he bantamweight?
Nakamura. I think he's bantam. I'm pretty sure he's bantam.
Oh God! Please feed him to Rinya.
That would be a feeding. Also, I'm trying to.
Also, bro. That's Tough Asia champion versus Let's Do America Tough champion. Like, that already sells too.
You're right. Yeah, sign me up. Sign me up. Like if we got it, yeah. Because Rinya, I think Rinya has skills, and he just has like zero name value and a win over Katona with like
Rinya Nakamura, like literally world renowned wrestler, like I think silver medalist or something like that. So like he's gonna give some dudes some problems.
No, he's good, bro. He's really good. Yeah. Like for example, I have Rinya Nakamura only like 3 spots below Yanez, and he'd probably beat Yanez if they fight. Yeah, but he just has zero like name
name value.
He's not there yet.
Brad Katona does have name value and is worse. So like, if you're the UFC, go ahead and let this road to the UFC Asia champion fight the two-time tough champion.
And then not that anybody really cares, but I guess for Armfield, I wouldn't mind seeing like a Cameron Simon. Like that, like something like that. Like
see,
Cameron Simon.
I could see Armfield getting someone more like a Raul Rosas.
That'd be sick too. That'd be a great test for Rosas. Like, because Rosas isn't going to be able to just like kind of just like Rosas has another problem of kind of doing the sport as well. Like this isn't jiu-jitsu. Like Armfield's going to make him like fight and like eat some shots and give some shots. And,
right.
Like, yeah.
Wouldn't mind it. Wouldn't mind it.
For sure, man. But it's been a fun one, man. That wraps it up. Yeah, check out our main card video. Check us out on Twitter/X at Beefy Breakdown. That's probably the easiest, most quickest way to engage with us. Also, recently made a Beefy Boys Breakdown IG account. Still trying to get that off the ground. So, give that a follow if you're so inclined. And yeah, episode 154 in the books. UFC 297. I have a feeling we will not be discussing this for event of the year next January.
There is a 1% chance this will be discussed for event of the year. Very unfortunate. This was the first pay-per-view of the year. It felt like they were robbing our pockets. That being said, happy to have the UFC back and rolling. We're off next week. Can't wait for what's coming up in the coming months, though. We have some banger pay-per-views.
Yeah, the next fight night's kind of horseshit, though. It's Imavov and who?
I got it right here. It's Imavov and fucking... Who gives a shit? No, it's it's Imavov and Dolidze.
Oh, yeah, that is kind of a who gives a shit. I mean, Dolidze should win that. Imavov's one of those guys
now,
I do not give a fuck.
I will say,
give a fuck meter on Imavov. Like, there's unranked guys. There's guys ranked 40 who I'd, like, rather watch fight because they're funner. Like, I'd rather watch Shara Bullet.
I will say you do have Kizriev against Muradov. You have Araujo and Natalia.
Muradov's going to die. I'm betting the house on Kizriev.
Well, Kizriev's minus 180 right now, so you should bet it right now. That's a crazy number.
Yeah, it's only going to go up.
That's a crazy number for that, actually, yeah.
It's going to finish at minus 300 for sure.
Natalia Silva taking on Viviane Araujo. Natalia Silva.
That's actually a fight I care about. I like Natalia Silva a lot.
Natalia Silva minus 280 might be too big, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. I just like her as like a fan, but like I hate that number as a bettor.
Also, very fun fight on that card, co-main. Money Moicano and Drew Dober.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the people's main event. That's sick. That's going to be fun.
We got Dom back. Yeah. We got Dom back in.
Yeah, I'm back. That was fun. Looking forward to it.
And then the other fight night main event just before Volkanovski Topuria, which we all know, and that's going to be great. We got Hermanson and Pfeiffer, which will be good, and then Lerone Murphy and Dan Ige. But I think
all
Murphy
the number
pulled
yet?
Pfeiffer and Hermanson? No, it does not.
Oh, man, I saw who replaced that. Somebody dope replaced Murphy, though. It's somebody that we, want to see fight. I cannot think of it, but it is.
Oh, this card is hot dog shit outside of this. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. The third to last fight is Albert Duraev versus Brizjic, someone we've never even heard of. And you got Brad Tavares and Gregory Sauce Rodriguez.
I'm betting the house on Rodriguez.
Michael Johnson and Darius Flowers.
Oh, that's bad. That's so bad.
Adolfo Vieira and Armand Petrosian. That's the main card.
Gross too. Yeah, that's gross.
Bro, and then oh my God, dude. Like the prelims. We'll end the episode after this, but I just got to read these names just so you know. Prelims are Daniel Marcos and Arichi Lang kicking it off. Holy shit. Someone Emil taking on Melsik Bogdasarian. Emil's unknown prospect.
Hey, Melsik,
8-0.
I kind of like Melsik, though. I kind of like Melsik.
Okay, it's going to get good, though. Don't worry. Zach Pauga taking on Bogdan Guskov.
Gross.
Jeremiah Wells and Max Payne Griffin. That one's not terrible.
Oh, yeah, I like Wells.
Devin Clark, Marcin Prachnio. Might be the sleeper of the prelims, actually.
Might be sleeper as in go to sleep.
Yeah,
Snooze
exactly.
fest? What the fuck? That's ass.
Bruno Brazil, Lomo Luke Boonme.
Hey, sign me. No, that's the heater. Those are two strikers, bro. That's going to be like a Muay Thai fight. That's going to be actually sick.
Bro.
Bruno Brazil loves head kicks and look for me as like the super classy Muay Thai style. And that's actually going to be sick. I'm actually stoked for that one.
Bro, and the last two fights are Damir Hadzovic versus Balaji Oki and Trevin Giles taking on what is this guy's name? Carlos Prates.
Gross. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. That's tough. That's tough sledding.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a 40-ounce and a paper bag for that one. But
bro, I'm gonna have trouble with those names because I don't even barely know those fucking fighters.
Yeah, that's rough. Hey, but Brazil looked for me. You heard it here first. That's it. If you don't know now, you know. If you don't know now, you know. That's gonna be a good one.
Prachnio Clark. If you don't know now, you know.
Oh, fuck out of here. All right, bro. Have a good night, man. That was fun.
You too. We'll catch y'all later. Don't forget to like and subscribe.